Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Coming up on 6 o'clock on THV 11, streaming on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller.
I'm Hayden Balgavy. Meteorologist Mo Thomas in for Tracy today. Also, Ashley is off of traffic, enjoying the extended 4th of July weekend. So hopefully it's a good one and going to be a little warmer later today.
Yeah, but we're not expecting it to be as warm as it was last week, which is the good thing. We start out this morning pretty much right where we should be for this time of year. Some lower to middle 70s out there, dew points in the low 70s. So it is pretty humid out there, but we don't have a whole lot of fog developing. Now through the morning, we'll see some of those clouds breaking down. Winds are coming from the north, which is helping bring in relatively cooler air from what we saw last week. But we'll still peak in the upper 80s and low 90s this afternoon. As we get into the afternoon, you do see some of those rain icons. Storm chances are picking up for your afternoon and evening, where there is a low-end risk of severe weather today. We've got that level 1 marginal threat for the southern 3/4 of the state. That does include all of the Little Rock Metro, and that is for our damaging wind threat and hail threat. Full details on what you need to know for this afternoon and the week ahead are coming up in your 7-day outlook.
Overnight, Russia hit Kyiv with waves of missiles and drones, killing at least 7 people and injuring 24 more as the attack continues this morning.
Ukrainian officials say a residential building there partially collapsed. Several apartment buildings were damaged. Crews still searching for people believed to be trapped under the rubble. The strikes came only hours after Ukraine's president warned of another large-scale Russian attack that could be coming, just days after a previous assault on Kyiv killed more than 30 people.
President Volodymyr Zelensky is again urging Western allies to send more Patriot air defense missiles, saying stronger protection critical as the war drags into its 4th year.
President Trump is heading overseas tonight for this week's NATO summit in Turkey, becoming the first U.S. president to visit the country since Barack Obama. The president says he'll push for an end to the U.S. war with Iran and Russia's war with Ukraine, while also renewing his call for NATO allies to increase their defense spending. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has a look at what's expected from this high-stakes trip.
Soon, President Trump will depart for the NATO summit in Turkey, less than a week after he warned on social media it would be ridiculous for the U.S. to continue supporting the alliance at current funding levels.
They agreed 6 months ago when we were together to pay 5%, and for the most part, they're not paying.
Germany countered it is doubling defense spending. This as the president renews his push to end Russia's war with Ukraine. He held separate calls Sunday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. And a U.S. official says the president will meet with Zelensky at the NATO summit. The U.S. war with Iran is also expected to be a big topic at the summit. The president again claimed victory in his July 4th speech.
You look at Iran, we wiped it out.
Peace talks are paused as Iran holds massive days-long funeral ceremonies for its deceased former supreme leader, killed by U.S. and Israeli strikes at the beginning of the war. Back home, sources confirm President Trump called the head of FIFA to discuss the controversial World Cup red card and suspension of top U.S. men's scorer Flo Balogun. Sunday, the sports body announced that Balogun's ban would be lifted, making him eligible to play in tonight's match against Belgium, drawing anger from the Belgian team and its fans. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And President Trump took to social media overnight to praise FIFA for what he called the right decision after the organization reversed what he described as an injustice. While Balogun's red card has been overturned, he'll remain on a year-long probation, meaning a similar violation could still trigger the suspension.
Now to a crime update. Little Rock police have arrested a man in connection with a deadly stabbing that happened last month. Investigators say 35-year-old Brandon Mills is charged with capital murder in the death of 64-year-old David Kilpatrick. Officers responded to what they described as a cutting call at an apartment on East 15th Street. They arrived to find Kilpatrick with stab wounds. He later died at a nearby hospital. A second victim was also found hurt and taken to a hospital for treatment and later released. Also, an update this morning on Conway's water restrictions. The city utility company approved some measures to try and ease drought conditions. Last week, company officials announced their plans to work with neighbors in Heber Springs and draw water from Greer's Ferry Lake. Yes, that decision has been approved by city leaders, and localized drought conditions at Brewer Lake forced Conway Corp to enforce restrictions on things like lawn watering and car washing. But now, with the city pulling water from Greer's Ferry Lake, locals and city officials are hoping this will ease conditions and lessen drought impacts.
They're planning on running a raw water main, which means it's untreated water, and they're going to pump from the lake. From what I've seen, it's going to be on the south side shore, the same shore as Lone White, and they're going to be pumping 37 miles to the east side of Conway, where they will put in a treatment plant, and then they will treat the water there and then give it to their customers.
The project starts at about 7 million gallons a day and could grow to nearly 20 million by 2034. Officials say Greer's Ferry Lake holds more than 900 billion gallons and don't expect any impact on other communities.
Independence Day celebrations may be over, but one Arkansas group is still carrying that spirit forward by honoring veterans one stitch at a time. They call themselves the Conway County Peacemakers, spelled P-I-E-C-E. The group spent the holiday weekend giving out handmade quilts to local veterans as a way to thank them for their service. Their movement started back in 2012 to honor the founder's veteran husband and has grown into a tradition that now spans hundreds of quilts.
I enjoy seeing the veterans. I enjoy seeing the gratitude given, particularly to the Vietnam veterans, since we didn't do a very good job when they came back initially.
Since the start, they've handed out more than 900 handmade quilts. If you're interested in one, they say they plan to keep the tradition going next year. And in Little Rock, thousands turned out for one of Central Arkansas's biggest 4th of July traditions, Pops on the River. Crowds filled the downtown riverfront for live music, food, and family-friendly activities throughout the day. And the night capped off with fireworks over the Arkansas River after just a slight delay. Before the fireworks even got started, Hot Springs got a head start on Independence Day with the festival packed with red, white, and blue.
The celebration also took time to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. THV 11's Carter Thweet shows us how the community came together for the big holiday.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Bright and early in Hot Springs, the National Park Service bringing people together on the 4th.
This is a community-focused parade. We wanted everybody in the community who showed up to be in it.
And they were, hundreds of people donning the red, white, and blue and marching down Hot Springs Central Avenue. Of course, not all of them were from Hot Springs.
We came from Cabot, Arkansas. It doesn't matter if it's older people or kids or babies or all the dogs. Yeah. Everyone is decked out in their most patriotic, passionate spirit.
The parade making its way toward the Arlington lawn for a picnic celebration. But it's who led that parade that made it even more special.
It was important for us to get the veterans of foreign wars and the American Legion to be the color guard today, to lead the parade.
We're obligated to carry the colors. It's something, that's what we do. We also honor people who passed away, and we honor their families and their commitment to service to our country.
Locals say Hot Springs is the perfect setting for an event like this.
Whether you're from Hot Springs or you're from a surrounding area or another state, it's just a really beautiful, friendly place to come and have a good family day.
And on the country's 250th birthday, that's exactly what people did.
We've got people running games for the kids, things like that.
Everybody should come together to celebrate this 250.
Can't wait to 300 because at 300 I'll be 80. So that would be awesome. I'd love to share that with my kids and grandkids the way they've shared it with me.
In Hot Springs, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Good weather for that festival. Now let's check in with meteorologist Simone Thomas and find out how today's weather is looking for us.
We're expecting some upper 80s and low 90s this afternoon, but I want you to pay attention to 1 o'clock through 5 o'clock. Those storm icons indicating scattered showers and thunderstorms across central Arkansas. I mentioned to you earlier, there's a low-end risk of severe weather as well, so stick around. Full details on what you need to know are coming up in 6 minutes.